We're now ready to put the back pieces together. So this is the centre back piece that I adjusted earlier, and I marked the dart that I was going to put onto here on the back, because obviously that's to try and get rid of some of that excess material here on the shoulder. Now, I've been thinking about this, and I've decided I'm going to ease that dart rather than actually making the dart. Now, how I'm going to start doing that, this is the piece I've already started working on. So I have thread traced the seam line here and also the dart itself. So I've just used a simple basting stitch with a white thread, and there's my thread, so that I can see exactly where that dart is. And as you remember, I added a little bit of extra fabric at the top of each shoulder, just in case, for allowances. So I've marked that line as well, and then I've marked my seam line from that line. Now, I've pinned the dart ready to close up the dart, and that's what I'm going to do next. I've now pinned the dart closed, and I'm going to baste this and the seam to finish that first step. This is the dart now that I've basted it closed, and I've basted across the seam line here just to hold it. Now, I'd previously made 2 marks. This is the outside of the fabric, 2 marks here and here, which were 1.5 centimeters from the dart line on either side. Now, I chose 1.5 centimeters because that was the actual distance between the dart lines. So you use the same amount as the gap between the dart lines. So the total here is 4.5 centimeters, but the dart has now been closed at this point. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mark these 2 points on the front piece, so that when I come to easing this section, I know that that will fit on the front. I've placed the front piece on top of the shoulder of the back piece, and I've transferred the marks here and here onto this piece. Now that I've transferred those marks onto the front piece, I'm actually going to remove all of the basting and all of these thread tracings from this piece of material, and then I'll be moving on to easing the dart. I've sewn 2 rows of ease basting here and here, and I've made sure that went past the 2 points, the 2 marks on there, and I've pulled the ease threads together so that there's more ease in this middle section, and these ends here are flatter. And as you can see, I've matched up the 2 lots of lines. Those are the ones on the front piece, and those are the ones on the back here. So what I'm going to now do is I'm going to press this to shrink out this ease and in the fabric so that it's flattened and will sit beautifully. I've been using the iron to help to ease and shrink the fabric within this part of the dart. You can still see where the original dart lines were. This is where I've tightened these threads to bring the fabric together, and I've been steaming it using quite a lot of steam because I want to shrink this fabric, and I've got it just about 1 inch over the seam line as well, because I want to shrink the fabric around that point as well. And I've just been working this fabric towards the ends, it's flatter, and towards the middle, that's where most of the fabric is. And I've got this over a ham at the moment, so I'm just working it, shrinking that fabric. There's going to be some, you can still see where the ease is, but it's much smoother now. than it was at the beginning. And what will happen is, as that cools and dries from the other side, that's not going to show at all on the back of the jacket once that's pressed. But the ease is there. I've taken in this shoulder piece so that I didn't have to have a dart, and it will be a nice, neat finish once it's done. And here are the two back pieces now that I've done the easing of that dart. And as you can see, yes, there are still the ease marks, but once that's been sewn into that shoulder seam, you won't see that. And once it's pressed, you won't see that. And that means you don't have a dart that's visible from the back either. So I'm now going to put the back facing onto these pieces, and I'll show you how to do that next.